There was a man in his early 60s who believed he had finally figured life out. No stress, no pressure. His days were calm, comfortable. He avoided anything that felt unnecessary, anything that felt like effort. And my friend, after decades of working, raising families, carrying responsibilities, that kind of comfort can feel like the reward you've been waiting for your entire life. And for a while, it felt like the perfect life. Until one day, he noticed something small. Getting up felt slower. Moving felt heavier. Nothing serious, no sharp pain, just different. At first, he ignored it, like many people do. But over time, those small changes began to add up. And that's when he realized something unsettling. It wasn't age that was changing his body. It was comfort. My friend, comfort is something most people work their entire lives to achieve. After years of effort, long work days, lifting, building, fixing, caring, you reach a point where rest feels deserved. And honestly, it is. After 50, many people begin shifting their lifestyle. Less rushing, less strain, more sitting, more resting, and in the beginning, this feels wonderful. Your body feels less stressed. Your mind feels calmer. Your days feel easier. But here's something I've seen again and again in my years as a geriatric doctor. The body does not interpret comfort the way the mind does. To the mind, comfort feels like reward. To the body, comfort often means reduced demand. And when demand decreases, the body adapts. That adaptation begins quietly, very quietly. Muscles are used less. And when muscles are used less, they shrink. Not dramatically, not visibly at first, just slowly. After age 50, adults naturally lose muscle mass, a process called age-related muscle decline. But when movement decreases, that loss accelerates. I've seen patients lose strength, not because of disease, but because of stillness. Your metabolism slows. Your balance becomes less stable. Your endurance quietly fades. Not in months, in years. That's why many people don't notice it early. Standing up from a chair feels slightly slower. Walking feels slightly heavier. Carrying groceries feels slightly more tiring. Not enough to alarm you, just enough to feel different. And here's the danger, my friend. When comfort becomes your default, your body becomes efficient at doing less. Efficiency sounds good, but efficiency at low demand means reduced capacity. The ability to do more gradually disappears. And once that capacity is gone, regaining it takes effort, much more effort than maintaining it would have. That's the quiet trade-off of comfort. Not pain, not injury, but reduced ability over time. The man who valued comfort believed he was protecting himself. He thought avoiding strain meant preserving strength. He chose elevators instead of stairs, parking closer instead of walking farther, sitting instead of standing. Not out of laziness, out of caution. But one afternoon, something happened that stayed with him. He approached a short set of stairs, just a few steps, something he had climbed thousands of times before, without thinking, without effort. But this time, halfway up, he felt slightly out of breath. Not dramatically, not dangerously, just unexpectedly. He paused, placed his hand on the railing, waited a few seconds, and that moment unsettled him because it didn't match his memory of himself. Later that afternoon, he sat quietly at home. No television, no distractions, just thinking. And my friend, reflection often begins when something small feels unfamiliar. He began replaying his daily habits. how often he sat, how rarely he walked, how frequently he avoided effort. He realized something surprising. His life had become easier, but his body had become weaker, not suddenly, not noticeably, but steadily. That realization didn't create fear, it created curiosity. So he tried something simple, an experiment. He didn't change everything, he simply reduced comfort, slightly. He walked a little more, stood instead of sitting whenever possible, carried small items himself. At first, it felt inconvenient, even unnecessary. But he kept going, day after day, and slowly, something remarkable happened. His body responded, not dramatically, but noticeably. Movement began to feel smoother, less stiff, more natural. And what surprised him most was how quickly that change happened. Because his body had not forgotten strength. It had simply adapted to stillness. Now here's where this becomes deeply important, my friend. Comfort itself is not harmful. We all need rest. We all need recovery. But excess comfort creates a cycle, and that cycle often goes unnoticed. It begins with small choices, choosing to sit instead of stand, choosing convenience over movement, choosing rest even when effort is possible, and those choices repeat day after day, week after week, month after month. Eventually, strength begins to decline, not dramatically, but consistently. Your muscles weaken, your endurance fades, your joints become stiffer, and something else happens, something psychological. Confidence begins to fade. You trust your body less, so you move less, and that creates the cycle. More comfort leads to less ability. Less ability leads to more comfort. I've watched this pattern unfold in hundreds of patients. Not because they were careless, not because they lacked discipline, but because comfort felt reasonable, safe, logical. But the human body was never designed for constant ease. It was designed for challenge, not extreme challenge, daily challenge, movement, engagement, effort. Without those signals, the body begins to reduce its capabilities, quietly, gradually, until one day, simple tasks feel harder than they should. That's when people often say, "I guess this is just aging." But often, it's not aging alone. It's adaptation to inactivity. And the good news, adaptation works both ways. Now let me tell you something hopeful, my friend. Maintaining strength after 50 does not require extreme workouts. It requires consistent effort, small effort, repeated daily. I've seen remarkable improvements in patients who made only simple changes. Standing instead of sitting while talking on the phone. Walking short distances instead of driving. Using stairs when possible. Stretching the body fully. Carrying groceries instead of relying on carts. These actions seem minor, but repetition creates transformation. Your body listens to repetition, not intensity, not perfection. Consistency. That's the foundation of true longevity habits. The goal is not to eliminate comfort. The goal is balance. Rest when needed. Move when possible. Challenge your body gently, but regularly. Because every time you ask your body to do something slightly demanding, you send a powerful message. Stay capable. Stay ready. Stay strong. And when that message is repeated daily, your body responds. Muscles maintain strength. Joints maintain mobility. Balance remains stable. Energy improves, not overnight, but steadily. Small effort, repeated daily, becomes strength. Comfort is not the enemy, my friend, but it cannot be your only destination. The human body was designed to move, to carry, to lift, to stand, to walk, to respond to challenge. And when it does, it remains capable, alive, responsive. The story of choosing comfort is incredibly common, especially after retirement, especially after years of hard work. People believe they've earned the right to rest, and they have. But rest without effort leads to decline. Balance creates strength. Effort maintains ability. Daily movement protects independence. Because here's the truth. Most people discover too late. Independence depends on strength. Not just medical care, not just medication. Strength, mobility, confidence in your own body. And those qualities are built one small choice at a time. Not big decisions, daily decisions. Standing instead of sitting, walking instead of waiting, moving instead of avoiding. Because in the end, the body reflects what it experiences most often. If it experiences stillness, it adapts to stillness. If it experiences effort, it adapts to strength. And sometimes, the difference between feeling capable and feeling limited comes down to one simple question. How often do you choose effort instead of comfort? Not perfectly, not always, just often enough to remind your body what it was built to do. And my friend, after 30 years caring for adults over 50, I can tell you this with confidence. That simple choice, made daily, may be one of the most powerful habits for staying strong for years to come.